Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thursday Talks with Chug. Each week, we cover pressing topics that matter to you and your business. I'm Ariana Gonzalez from Chug Attorneys and CPAs, tuning in from our San Diego office. Please join me in welcoming partner and attorney Gladys Gervasio from our headquarters in Los Angeles. Hi there, Gladys, and welcome.
Hi, Ariana. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for taking the time. For today's topic, we will be talking about EB visa numbers, October Bulletin, and all the filing tips that we can give you. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This conversation is for informational purposes only. It does not create an attorney-client relationship. So if you do have questions, please comment them below or email us anytime at info@chug.com. So let's get right into it, Gladys. I want to talk about the EB visa numbers. Something just recently happened this month, just a few days ago, in regards to the EB green card categories. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
The Department of State reached the annual visa limits for several employment-based categories, EB1, EB2, EB3. These categories are now unavailable, meaning no new green cards could be issued until the new fiscal year starts October 1st.
So is this a visa retrogression?
No, this is not a visa retrogression. This is a visa number exhaustion. So the cutoff dates didn't move backward. So it's not a retrogression. The categories simply hit their annual caps, which caused final approvals temporarily until the new fiscal year opens in October 2025.
Wow. Okay. So can you tell us what unavailable means for pending or any new I-485 cases?
Sure, that means that for the rest of September, USCIS cannot approve any I-485s, and the Department of State cannot issue new immigrant visas in the EB1, EB2, and EB3 categories. However, USCIS may still accept I-485 filings under the appropriate Visa Bulletin chart.
Well, really good to know. So, can you tell me what unavailable means for pending or new I-485 cases?
That means that for the rest of September, USCIS cannot approve any I-485, and the Department of State cannot issue immigrant visas in the EB1, EB2, and EB3 categories. However, USCIS may still accept I-485 filings under the appropriate Visa Bulletin chart.
So, I know we have a lot of both employers and applicants who watch our show. So, what should employers and applicants do in late September?
Employers can continue to process the non-immigrant petitions, the H's and the L's for their employees so that they can maintain their non-immigrant status. They can continue with their PERM and I-140 filings. And for employees, if their priority date becomes current for October when the new fiscal year opens, start preparing your I-485 documentation in advance of the October filing.
So, I want to touch on the October 2025 Visa Bulletin. What Visa Bulletin chart will USCIS be using for the EB filings in October of this year?
USCIS has confirmed that it will use the dates for filing chart for employment-based green cards in October 2025.
So, what changed in this recent bulletin compared to the previous one? Like, what do we need to know about this?
At the start of the new fiscal year in October 2025, the final action dates for several EB1, EB2, and EB3 countries will move forward, but they will not advance by more than 3.5 months. For EB1, China will advance by 5 weeks to December 22, 2022, and India will remain at February 15, 2022. All other countries will continue to be current. For EB2, China will advance by 3.5 months to April 1st, 2021, and India will advance by 3 months to April 1, 2013. All other countries will advance by 3 months to December 1st, 2023. Now, EB3 professionals and skilled workers, China will advance by 3 months to March 1st, 2021. India will advance by 3 months to August 22, 2020. All other countries will remain at April 1, except for Philippines, which will advance by 7 weeks to April 1st, 2023. We're seeing forward movement in the dates for filing in October, which enables more applicants to file their I-485s with USCIS. Specifically for India, we're seeing some advancement in the dates for filing. For instance, for EB1, India advanced by 1 year to April 15, 2023. EB2, it jumped by 10 months to December 1st, 2013, and EB3, it jumped to 14 months to August 15, 2014.
Wow, really important details there. Thank you for sharing all of that with us. So, does this mean anything for applicants with current priority dates under date for filing? And if so, what does this mean?
USCIS announced that for filing the I-485s with USCIS, they will honor the dates for filing chart. So if your priority date is current under the October dates for filing, you can file your I-485 starting October 1st. It does not mean, though, that your green card application will get approved. It just means your priority date needs to be current under the final action dates for USCIS to approve your green card. And of course, it has to go through the usual processing times with USCIS. But the advantage for filing your I-485 is it unlocks benefits like the EAD and the advanced parole while you're waiting.
Do you have any advice, insights for anybody who might be close to the cutoff but is not eligible in October?
It would be good to start preparing and gathering your documents now so that if your date becomes current in a future Visa Bulletin, you're ready to file in.
And what about switching categories? Can applicants switch categories, for example, from an EB2 visa to an EB3?
Yes, interfiling may be possible if an EB category is more favorable to you based on that month's visa bulletin. So in these cases, it's best to work with an immigration attorney to assess eligibility.
Wow, okay, good to know. So, all of our employers who are tuning in, take notes. What steps should employers take in October? What advice do you have for all of our employers watching?
As an employer, you want to support your employees who are eligible to file their I-485. So help them with documentation that they may need from your end, such as completing the I-485 Supplement J, providing a company support letter if needed. If you also want, you can review priority dates and chargeability for your employees with approved I-140s. Also, you want to encourage your employees to file as soon as they are eligible to lock in benefits such as the EAD and the advanced parole.
Good to know. I want to ask you about the best practices for filing the I-485 in October. What would you say are the key eligibility requirements to file a I-485 in October?
Well, first, your priority date should be earlier than the October 2025 dates for filing. So, what if your priority date is the same date as the cutoff date? Are you able to file your I-485? The answer to that is no, because your priority date should be earlier than the cutoff date listed in the Visa Bulletin. So, for example, EB1 and your priority date is April 15, 2023, which is also the cutoff date. Would you be eligible to file? The answer is no, not yet, because your priority date is not earlier than the cutoff date. So you should have also an approved I-140. And if you're eligible, you can do concurrent filing of the I-140 and I-485. You should be currently in the US and maintaining lawful status. And of course, you're eligible under the applicable employment based category that you're applying for.
Interesting. So, is it possible to file an I-140 and an I-485 together in October?
Yes. So this is what's called concurrent filing, and it's allowed if your I-140 is approvable and your priority date is current under the dates for filing chart. So you may want to also consider premium processing in certain cases.
Do you have any information on the updated rules for the medical exam form I-693?
Yes. As of December 2, 2024, you are required to submit Form I-693, which is the medical exam report and vaccination record with your I-485. So if it's missing, USCIS can actually reject your application. So it's best to schedule your exam early with a USCIS designated civil surgeon. Now, I want to say this because in previous years, there was USCIS guidance saying that applicants can submit their medical exam report at a later stage. For example, if an RFE is issued or during the adjustment of status interview. So this guidance is now outdated as of December 2024. You should include your sealed medical exam report with your I-485 application.
Got it. So no longer able to submit it later on. You now have to submit the vaccination record with the I-485 form. Wonderful. So can you tell us a little bit about the supporting documents that should be included with the I-485?
Well, please include your civil documents. These are your birth certificates, marriage certificates, and English translations if they are in a foreign language. And then, of course, evidence that you are maintaining lawful status in the US, such as your I-94s, your approval notices, your recent pay statements, also copy of your visa. You want to put in your I-140 approval notice in there, and then this requirement, if you're not filing the I-140 and I-485 concurrently, you have to submit the I-485 Supplement J to confirm your employer's permanent job offer. And then you have the passport photos and the sealed medical exam report and other supporting documents as we needed.
Okay, so quite a few documents to make sure you have on hand and with you included in the I-485. Thank you for going over that with us. What should dependents consider? For example, spouses, children?
For dependents, you want to confirm the Child Status Protection Act, whether your children are eligible. Remember, based on recent USCIS policy update, the child's age freezes when a visa number is available under the final action dates chart, not the dates for filing. So this update applies to applications filed after August 15. Under previous guidance, the child's age freezes when you file the I-485, whether it's based on the final action dates chart or the dates for filing, but that no longer holds true. So just remember the CSPA. Also include all the required civil documents, such as your birth certificates. Also explore cross-chargeability, if applicable. That means you're using your spouse's country of birth if the dates or the cutoff dates are more favorable under that country.
Oh, wow, that's a really great idea. Good to know. If you guys are watching this and have questions about this, feel free to reach out to us. Gladys would love to help you out. So, Gladys, I want to ask you a little bit about travel considerations. I know we get a lot of questions about this from our clients. So, can somebody travel internationally after filing an I-485 in October?
Well, not until you receive your advance parole. Traveling without an approved advance parole may abandon your I-485 application unless you're re-entering in a valid H or L status. So please plan carefully and consult your attorney prior to making any travel arrangements.
Absolutely. When in doubt, just give us a call. Always here to help you out. So, when does AC-21 portability apply if somebody wants to change jobs, for example?
After 180 days from filing your I-485 and you have an approved I-140, you can switch to another job in the same or similar occupational classification. But please make sure to document your job duties and your SOC codes to support this change. And your new employer will need to sign and file I-485 Supplement J to confirm that they're offering you a permanent position under the same or similar occupation.
Great advice. Thank you. What are some common mistakes that everybody should avoid when filing in October?
Missing medical exam report, that's a no-no. Make sure it's submitted to USCIS in a sealed envelope. you have incorrect or outdated USCIS forms, make sure you're submitting the correct form edition. Otherwise, USCIS can reject your application, and the incorrect filing fees as well. USCIS can also reject your application, and you might miss, your priority date being current, right, because of a rejection. So you don't want that to happen. Also incomplete documents or even just missing translations will cause an RFE and will further delay processing your case. Now, filing without confirming whether you're eligible based on the priority date and failing to maintain your non-immigrant status.
Really good points there. So I want to touch on visa stamping limits for the TCN. So what's happening with TCN visa stamping in Canada or Mexico? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's not only for Canada or Mexico, but for most consulates. The Department of State announced that it is limiting or denying visa appointments for third country nationals. So these are individuals who are applying to get their visa stamped outside of their country of citizenship or residence. So these applicants are now required to return to their home country or country of residence to apply for their visa.
Wow, really good to know. Thank you for sharing that. I have one more question for you. What are the risks and best practices for visa stamping now?
The risk, of course, is limited appointment availability and long delays, especially now that the Department of State has also reinstated the requirement for in-person interview appointments for most non-immigrant visa applications. So best practice would be prioritize home country stamping, travel only if really necessary, avoid travel during critical periods of your employment in the US, or you can be outside the US for extended periods of time. Expedited and emergency appointments are still available, but only use this if you have compelling grounds and, of course, with strong supporting documents.
Wow, such wonderful insights today. Thank you so much for giving us all of these updates and insights today, Gladys. We really appreciate your time. That is all we have time for today. So this brings us to the end of our conversation. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. A special thank you to you, Gladys, for taking the time to stay up to date. Please subscribe and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Let us know what topic you want to see next. And if you have any questions, please email us anytime at info@truth.com. And make sure to join us back here next week for more pressing topics that truly matter to you and your business. Until next time, stay safe and take care, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Gladys.